Hello and welcome to the Voice of Your Passions business interview series. I'm Stephanie Bonte-Lebair, the founder of Empowered Business Networking and the Empowered Voice. And I am here today with a fellow artist, musician, singer, Vashti Stopher Klein. I'm super excited to dive in about her passion and what makes her tick, how she helps people. And she will have a gift for everyone today. So stay tuned on how you can redeem that gift. But welcome, Vashti. So glad
Oh,
you're here.
thanks. Thanks for having me, Stephanie.
Yes, I'm going to read just a little bit of your bio so people can understand more of your background and what you do. So, Vashti Stopher Klein is the president of Butterfly Effect Productions, a multimedia company committed to fostering a positive worldview and empowerment through diverse art forms spanning music, fine art, literature, and associated merchandise. Vashti is a prolific filmmaker, singer songwriter, and poet whose creations provide solace and healing to her audiences through multidimensional films, poetry, and music. She also recently launched the Blue Butterfly Effect Shop, an online store with products that promote messages of kindness, connection, and beauty. I'm actually excited to go dive into your store and see what you have to offer.
Great.
So let's start with the question I always ask everyone is tell me more about your passion. Why is it that you do what you do?
Well, I actually the underpinning of everything that I do is the desire to contribute something positive to the world through the arts. And there's so much tragedy and war and disconnection, disaffection that people have nowadays from everything that's been going on, especially the last few years. And I just want to contribute something positive to that.
Yeah, I so agree with you. The more joy that we as artists can put back into the world, we are so needed right now. And you know, I I attract a lot of creatives such as yourself. And so I really appreciate, especially during these times, having this kind of a community who is putting their art back into the world. So tell me more about your art. Tell me more about your music and the transformation that you provide people.
Well, I'll just give you a little bit of background. As I said, my desire is to provide solace and comfort to people, and create products that resonate with them on a personal level. Um, a number of years ago, I had a health scare, and that threatened my life and my voice,
Mm.
and it was life changing for me. I mean, I sat in a surgeon's office and had him say to me that the one of the risks of the surgery was I might not ever speak again, much less sing.
Wow.
And I had just started singing again. I spent most of my career as a filmmaker, but I had gone back to singing, and it was crucial to me. But I didn't even realize how crucial until he said that. And I heard myself say it's almost like a whisper, but I'm a singer. And he kept talking, and then I said it louder, but I'm a singer. I can't lose my voice. And so he was trying to explain the risks of the surgery and everything. And I said, well, you need to understand how important this is to me, because I knew, like I said, since one of the risks was you could lose your voice, I wanted him to know how important that decision was going to be when he was in there doing surgery, and what that would mean to me in my life. And so I asked him if I could play something for him that I had recorded, and he said sure. And I played a song for him, and he was very polite and sat and listened to the song. And afterwards, he said, I will do everything I can and everything in my power to save your beautiful voice. And then I felt heard. I felt he understood how important that was to me. So over the next few weeks, my life basically passed before me. I began to, I looked very deeply into everything I'd done in my life and said to myself, well, it's possible this is it. This is what I've contributed. And so I was terrified. But the night before the surgery, I had this dream in which the surgeon appeared, and he said, everything's going to be perfectly fine. And when I woke up the next morning, all the fear was gone. It was amazing, given how terrified I was. And I was just resolute then. I was like, okay, let's go get this done. I was like Prince Hal, once more into the breach, let's go do it. And not realizing that the experience I was about to have was even separate from the actual surgery itself. And that was the incredible compassion of the healthcare people who took care of me. People, complete strangers, doing everything they could to make me comfortable, to make sure I wasn't afraid, to make sure that I was healing. And their kindness fundamentally changed my life. When I left and was recovering for the next few weeks, I couldn't sing for a while because of the breathing tube. But once I started to sing again, I felt my heart, it was like my heart opened. And I then decided that I wanted to go around and sing locally a little bit, just open mics, informal things. And so I started to practice for that. And finally I had my big night, and I got up and sang, terrified I might add again. And I got a standing ovation. I mean, that doesn't happen on an open mic, situation. And so I then said, well, I'm going to do this again and again. And then I kept getting these reactions. I know you've gotten this as a singer because you're a wonderful singer.
Thank you.
But that people will you touch their hearts. There's something, I don't know if it's the vibration. I don't know what it is. It's the combination of the melody, the words, again, your voice, but people would touch their hearts. One woman came up to me right after a song and put her arms around me and sobbed for like 5 minutes. And I was consoling her, and she just said, well, that was just so beautiful. So the point I'm trying to make is that I then began to think, well, maybe this is something I can do. I can contribute. I can pay this forward. I can use this second chance that I've been given to do something that contributes something to people's lives. And so from that point forward, I mean, I was so inspired. I was writing music and poetry, and I published 2 albums and a couple of singles and a book of poetry and music. And then since then, everything I've done just sort of transforms itself into this allegory of healing that, to me, reinforces the importance of the arts.
Yes. Artists are healers. They really are. And it took me some time to recognize that part of us too, what an amazing story that you have around that. So tell me more about then how that transfers into, now you've got this online store as well.
Yes.
So can you tell me more about that?
Oh, well, sure. I'd be happy to. So what I decided to do recently when, I'm looking around. I mean, obviously it's the holidays, so you can't ignore the fact that everything is just consumerism. But so much of it is just meaningless. And we buy things and throw them away. And so I thought, maybe another way to create this rippling effect of kindness, basically, and compassion, is to create an online store that have products that have meaning connected to them. So the names of the products relate to the poetry in my book. Nice. And people anybody who buys anything gets a free download of the book, so that they can connect it to either a poem that means something to them, or a song. And if they're out and about and they're talking with people or having coffee, it can become a conversation piece. Yeah. And then that breeds connection.
Yes, a store that has products with meaning that breed connection. I love that.
Exactly.
We're gonna add the link to your store to these videos too, so people can go check out your store.
Wonderful.
Would you like to share a success story of how, you kind of already shared one about the woman who came up and just hugged you after you got done singing and said how much that really helped her. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I work with a variety of people for different things. Obviously I work with musicians, and but also with artists. And the artist who created the artwork for my poetry book. It's Carol Collette Desert Studio in Scottsdale, Arizona. And she is just a brilliantly talented woman. Her work is beautiful. And so I think I could say, and I think she would agree that the successful part of our collaboration was that her work then got an international audience.
Mhm.
That she never had before. She has won wonderful awards, but the bulk of her work, of her life's work, has not been seen, and now it's everywhere. So I think she would call that a win.
Yes, and well, it's the power of collaboration, right?
Yeah.
When we work together as artists, as musicians, as, heart-centered entrepreneurs, we're able to create a much bigger ripple effect of visibility and awareness and healing in the world. So,
Hmm.
it's so important to know who those collaborators are, generally, so that you can then identify them, which is
Hmm.
part of what we do with our networking, right? So it's part of you're now a part of Empowered Business Networking, and what we do as creative entrepreneurs is find ways to work together. So
Hmm.
would you like to share a tip of any kind? And I know that you're going to read some of your poetry
Oh,
today, so
yeah.
happy to jump right to that too if you want to do that.
Sure. Why don't I do that first?
Great.
I'd love to read this poem to you. Um, it's called "The Umbrella Fixer." And quickly, it came about from, I don't know, you probably, so many people loved Anthony Bourdain and his road shows many years ago. And I did too. And on one of his programs, he went to Hong Kong. And I don't remember how it came about, if he was going into a restaurant, but there was a man on the corner and had a little stall, and he fixes umbrellas. And Tony talked with him a little bit, and it was a simple conversation, but something about that was just, to me, so poignant, that what he did was just, his contribution was just meaningful and just so simple. And I thought, well, someday I know I'm going to write something about that, but I don't know what. And that was years ago. And then about a year ago, this poem came, "The Umbrella
Nice.
Fixer." A broken rib repair, as simple as binding the dislocated pieces with a length of wire, not even the distance from your arm to your heart. That is all it takes. That and the eye of the man squatting on the street corner when the rain begins and you walk by, surprised at the impoliteness with which it began. The umbrella fixer, with eyes as discerning as any eyes that pass him by, looks for the simplest way to help you. You hurry by, shoulder to the wind, furiously flicking your broken umbrella, wanting to cavalierly throw its carcass away, as it is of no use to you now. But you brace against the wind that its spindly form still shields you from. It was of no importance, though it protected you from the heavenly waters, which drowned you in a suffering embrace that nearly killed you. But perhaps this winter you did not die of an illness, from the wet cold, from being exposed, from being vulnerable to the bitter wind that didn't care whether you were strong enough to withstand its onslaught. You wouldn't have seen the umbrella fixer crouching nearby, who understands its value. You wouldn't have noticed him but for the rain and your broken umbrella. He politely smiles and offers to help you, quickly hand him your damaged stick with torn fabric, where rain pours in with the force of God, and quickly, expertly, with his needle and nylon, he quickly stitches and restores your defense against the rain. What manner of man is this? He goes to your very soul. You quickly walk away, protected again and warm, without a thought of the man who bows, smiling, behind you as he waits for the next hapless soul. The umbrella fixer is there when the sky is falling and the sun explodes, and when the weeping rain floods the earth, he softly whispers, "I will help you fix this one small thing."
Mm, beautiful.
Thank you.
That's so beautiful. I'm so glad you shared that with us.
Thank you.
I know you have a gift for us as well today. Would you like to describe what it is, and we'll tell everybody how to claim it?
I do. Um, uh, I have a download of my book of poetry and music, a free download. And then the first person who responds can select something from my store.
Oh, you get to go shopping. Awesome. We will, if you type hashtag butterfly as a comment under this video, the first person will get to go shopping at Vashti's
Right.
store. And we will make sure everyone who responds gets a download of her poetry. Um, is this like a sample from your book? Is that what it is?
It is the book.
It is the book. So you get your book of a whole book of poetry.
You get a whole book of poetry and music. It has links to music. It's a combination.
Oh, links to music too. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for this gift.
Uh,
So appreciate it. Any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us before we wrap this up?
I guess so. I would say the most important takeaway is to share your voice now. Give your gift to the world. That's my message to people, is the importance of their uniqueness is what's critically needed in the world. And so don't wait till tomorrow. We don't know what tomorrow brings. You have today. And so get out there and share your voice.
I love that message so much.
I know
If you
you
would
do.
like to meet Vashti, you can come to our next networking event. We always have the first Thursday of every month is our networking meeting, and guests can come twice. So if you'd like to come visit and learn when the next one is, just go to ebnnetworking.com. You can meet lots of creatives. We have coaches, speakers, trainers, marketing and sales professionals in our group. We network differently because we network as creatives network in their strengths by focusing on collaboration instead of competition and really working to build empowered partnerships. So with that, thank you again for being here on this
Thank
Voice of
you.
Your Passions interview series. We will see everyone again soon.
Bye.